Hi, my name is Steve Walton from pickleballmania.com.au, and I'm going to take you through the features of a court shoe and what makes these shoes the must-have item for pickleball. Now, I've been selling high-performance court shoes for 30 years in a number of sports, and I've never seen a sport that is more dependent on a great shoe than pickleball because of the amount of steps taken. And for those of us that have been on the planet for a while and have some issues with our feet, it makes it even more important. So the first question I get asked by a lot of people is, what is a court shoe? And outwardly, they can look quite similar to a normal running shoe, but a court shoe has a number of features that give it stability, making sure that your foot lands where it needs to land every time. Now, some of these features are the shoe outsole flares out so you don't roll. You get Achilles support here by a firm heel guard in the back of the shoe. You have a definite shape across the top of the shoe so that it holds your foot in when you're stepping side to side. Your foot does not overflow the shoe. So that brings me to a really important point, which is, the three main parts of a shoe, and they are as follows. This is the outsole. This is the part that touches the ground, obviously. This is the midsole. It's the most important part of the shoe, and it gets spoken about the least. But it's what gives you your cushion. It's what gives you your support. It's what stops you rolling when you're stepping to the side. And then, of course, there is the upper, which holds everything in, winds in across the top of the foot. So they're the three main parts of your court shoe. So one of the questions I get asked the most is, why can't I just wear my running shoe, my leisure shoe? Now, this is my personal shoe. It's a running shoe, and obviously running is all about just hitting the heel to the ground, stepping through and bouncing off. So the shoe is just designed for forwards motion. We all know that in pickleball, there is an enormous amount of side-to-side stepping. Now, this shoe is just not designed for that. The side wall of this shoe is soft, and it will crush and compact when I step to the side. And what that means is the muscles of my lower leg, they need to work a lot harder to compensate for the fact that I'm out of alignment. What a court shoe does, and one of the main features, is this side wall here. Now, I cannot push that in no matter how hard I push on that. So when my weight goes to the side and I'm pushing on it, the shoe will not buckle. It will not strain my lower leg. It'll let me return to my position, keeping me in alignment. And that's what stops all those little injuries. That's what helps to prevent the meniscus tears and the ankle rolls and the Achilles pain. So it is definitely worth the investment in getting a court shoe over a running shoe. It might not feel as comfortable, as soft and as lovely, but it's going to save you many trips to the physio. Now, there's no doubt that amongst some of the more mature players, people that have played sport for a long time, that there's ailments that come into the challenge of getting a shoe. Bunions is one. Now, there's lots of solutions for it, thankfully. One of the things with bunions is you want mesh on the upper. You want mesh here on the side where the bunion sticks out, or here, so that it's not being irritated. You want a wide fit, and there's lots of brands and lots of shoes that will accommodate that. Other people suffer from plantar fasciitis. Now, again, you just need to get a shoe that's got good midsole cushion. And by good, I don't mean super soft and spongy. I mean comfortable, but still delivering that stability, because that is absolutely critical. If you suffer from pronation or supination, that is rolling in, rolling out, then you need to know that all court shoes are built, proper court shoes are built neutral. So you will need to accommodate that yourselves with podiatrist provided inserts. You can get things from the chemist also that just control your foot position. So, and if you do that, pull the inner sole out of the shoe and put that in so that you'll still sit in the shoe in the same position that the shoe was designed to accommodate you in. How do you know when to change your shoes? Now, the first and the most important thing I can tell you on that is you don't judge your shoes being worn out when this is worn out or when it's all scraped through at the back here. Again, it's this midsole. This is the most important area. This is what is taking all the impact when you hit the ground. So if you're waking up the next morning and your ankle, your knees, your hips, your back are really sore, and I mean aching, that's a good sign that maybe this compression is no longer doing its job. Maybe it's clapped out. The other thing you can do, sometimes you'll get horizontal lines through here, and that's also an indication that the foam has compressed and is not returning. So if you're suffering from either of those, it's time to change shoes. One interesting point I'd like to bring up here is I strongly recommend to players that you keep two shoes in rotation all the time, so you don't go from a burnt out pair of shoes to a brand new pair of shoes and the body's trying to adjust to make all those changes. If you have 2 shoes in rotation, they'll last longer, and all those little muscles in your feet won't get embedded in the structures of only 1 shoe. So it is important, if you can manage it, to have 2 shoes in rotation. One thing that's really worth keeping in mind when you're fitting yourself is the lacing on a shoe. If it feels too tight down here, take a few minutes and open all this lacing up. Let the foot expand. This shoe's a great example. There's 3 different ways of lacing here. You can lace short, you can lace long, you can speed lace, but take some time to open the lacing up so that your foot can fit comfortably into a shoe. I know it might take a few minutes before you play, but if you do that, it's going to dramatically reduce the risk of you rolling an ankle or suffocating your foot, impacting on blood flow during a game. Often we're on court for 2 hours at a time playing our events and in our club sessions. You need this shoe to be comfortable. Take a couple of minutes to get it that way.